Hey Tactical family, this is Mike. Welcome back to the Tactical Llama. We're out at the range, finally getting to shoot the JK 105 CCX 9mm suppressor. Stick around, it's gonna be good. All right, before the intro, I said we are finally getting out to shoot the JK Armament CCX JK 105. This is the smallest 9mm suppressor in the world. This is it. All the specs, everything about this will be in the tabletop, wherever YouTube puts that, right? So you know I do a tabletop and then I get out to the range. Just a little bit of a recap. This is, again, from JK Armament, the JK 105 CCX 9mm. This is a mission configurable suppressor, which means I can run it the full size, or I'm not going to do it on camera because of the YouTube overlords. I can make it smaller, which is pretty awesome. So if you want to carry one of these concealed, then you can drop it down to the smallest possible configuration or whatever suits your needs. Now, as you reduce the baffles, the tone changes, which is going to be interesting. This suppressor can be run wet or dry, which means you can run Vaseline or lubricant down through the baffles and it's going to quiet it down. It's also going to make it easier to clean, easier to take apart. Some people I've seen run water. I'm not going to do that. It's going to get super messy. We're only going to run it initially lubed today, so wet for the first few rounds, and then we're going to run it dry. I didn't bring any out here to be able to do all that stuff. But what we are going to do is we're going to run it at each configuration so you can see what it sounds like. What we're going to run this on, and I wish I was running it on my Glock 43X, but the barrel did not come in. We are going to run it, however, on my AP5 with the Hollow Sun EXPS2, which is going to be pretty cool. And just like that, we have a suppressor on here. Just so the YouTube overlords know, this is not an extended magazine. This is 28 rounds. I follow the YouTube policies, so I don't do extended magazines on here. I have never shot this suppressor yet, so it's going to be interesting to shoot this through the AP5. My goal is to get a different can on this AP5, but what the hell. Also, I'm not going to use ear protection on this. Unfortunately, I'm shooting 115 grain ammo, so it's going to be louder than you would expect. Ultimately, we'll do some tests and 147 grain should be subsonic. That's what I would rather shoot. If I shoot this with 115 grain and it's too loud, I'll put ear protection in because it is going to crack. But let's go ahead, get it going. First round out of the JK Armament JK 105 CCX. That was awesome. Didn't hit the ears. You could hear the crack, right? Because I said we're doing 115 grain, but that was nothing. Again, you can hear the crack, but it is suppressed. Let's go ahead and drop a baffle, see what happens. Okay, we've dropped it down one baffle. Now there are 6 baffles in total. Just remember, each time you drop a baffle or adjust it, you got to put the cap back on. Another cool thing about these suppressors is you can change the tone, and it actually gives it a deeper tone. This is an adjustable baffle, so depending on where you put it in the stack, it changes the tone of the round. It's pretty awesome. Okay, let's do our next 2 rounds. No, nothing. Not bad at all. No ear ringing, nothing. That is pretty cool. All right, let's drop another baffle. Down to the next baffle. So we have 4 baffles here. Remember, always put the cap on. You'll notice though it's getting smokier. Dropping down the baffles. But there you go, still not a problem at all. Down to the next set. I told you we're running this wet. It will not take very long for any of that lubricant to dissipate. You'll have to just keep putting lubricant on there if you want. Also, make sure your baffles are tight. I'm not tightening these super tight because I'm taking them off for each round. But you're gonna wanna make sure you check these baffles to make sure they're tight. Next set, so we're down to 1, 2, 3 baffles. Okay, a little more crack to that, but not unbearable. I could shoot that if I had to. Let's drop another baffle. We have dropped to only 2 baffles. This bottom piece right here, this is not a baffle. You've got to have one of these baffles on there in order for it to have any suppression. This is not a baffle. Just keep that in mind. Let's see how this one sounds. It's going to get louder. Okay, still not terrible. Shooting through the AP5 is generally not bad at all. Make sure you are using your aim protection. This is for testing purposes. I'm not advocating you go out and shoot all the time without ear protection, but this is just for testing to see if it's something that's going to be unbearable. There's no ringing in my ears, nothing like that. Let's drop it down to the last baffle. Okay, that technically was the last baffle. Let me show you what they look like. So there's your baffle. See how it's got the cone, stuff like that in there? Let me take this cap off. I can't do it on camera because, again, I can't show you how to assemble, disassemble. Can't show you what I do. All I can show you is what's after. So look inside there. There's no cone or anything. We're gonna shoot it anyway. The last one is your tone that you can adjust. Now I imagine this one's gonna be just like shooting without any suppression at all. Yeah, that was like shooting with no suppression at all. Let's put it all back together and let's listen to what this sounds like all together again. Okay, let's listen to this again with all the baffles put back together. Make sure I got them all. I do. Again, we're shooting 115 grain. Again, I wish I had 147 grain. I just didn't get a chance to get out and get any. But I still think with 115 grain, this is not terrible. This suppressor, yes, I'm shooting it on an AP5. It's not designed for full auto. It's not designed for you to get out and go to the range and burn down 300 rounds. It is designed for home defense. Put it on your pistol, leave it on your nightstand, concealed carry, but not repetitive use. What we're doing here today, not a big deal. All right, let's put some more rounds down so we can hear this AP5 with this suppressor. There it is. The JK Armament CCX 9mm, smallest suppressor in the world.